Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to smash that like button so that my YouTube videos can get pushed out into the world a lot more faster. I really would appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about how to win with money in 2021. Now I have a couple steps that we must take so that we could win and be a lot better at money this year and in the future years to come. Now, number one is to educate yourself on the subject of money. Now, just like anything, you will never be good at it unless you educate yourself about it. There's many sources and resources at your fingertips where you can learn about money. For me, I just picked up a book and started reading about money. Actually, the first book I picked up was this book right here, Think and Grow Rich. And it actually says right at the top, you probably can't see it, but I'm gonna read it to you. This book could be worth $1 million to you. Pretty much just talks about changing your mentality when it comes to money and when it comes to being successful and, practicing delayed gratification. It puts you in the right mindset to think about money so that you can win with money. Now, definitely, if you haven't read this book, read it ASAP so that you can start changing your mindset around the world and just around money in general. The second book that I do recommend to educate yourself on the subject of money is, you probably guessed it, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, Rich Dad, Poor Dad is an amazing book because it has a great story and it talks about Robert Kiyosaki and how he lived in Hawaii, and that he had a rich dad and a poor dad, and his poor dad was his biological dad, who was like a school teacher, and his rich dad was his best friend's dad, who was a very wealthy man in Hawaii. So he start, to see the difference between the two people and how they thought about money and how they went about life when it comes to money. And obviously, you could tell he followed his rich dad and he became a very wealthy man himself. Definitely a great storyline, definitely a great first read to help you get into the subject of money and start to learn about, what is an asset and what is not. And honestly, go on YouTube and start looking up, how to save money, how to make money, stuff like that, just to get you interested into the topic and start learning more about money. I would say do that every day or at least an hour a day. Just to start studying and educating yourself on money, because you will never have a lot of money if you do not know what to do with money. It's simple. There's a lot of people out there that think that, oh, well, if I have $1 million tomorrow, then I'll be good. Most likely, in most cases, you will never be good, because then you'll probably go broke because you don't even know what to do with that $1 million. There's a good quote I usually see on Instagram saying, if you can't manage $100, you will never be able to manage $100,000, $1 million, or $10,000 and stuff like that. Just because the number gets higher doesn't mean you're automatically, this person that's very savvy with money. It's total opposite. Okay, step number 2 is to start an emergency fund with about $2,000 to $3,000 in it. I know Dave Ramsey does his 7 baby steps, and his first baby step is to save $1,000. But now, as you can see, 2020 exposed a lot of people and exposed the world to show that, you need an emergency fund. So I would say that $1,000 definitely doesn't break it. You should be doing around $2,000 to $3,000 so that you could save it and have it for a rainy day. And 2020 was the longest rainy day in a long time, and it's still continuing to happen. Now, when you are saving up for an emergency fund, you have to practice one thing when it comes to not spending any money, and that is delayed gratification. You've probably heard of instant gratification, which is along the lines of, I worked hard for it and I want it now. This is when I want it and I'm gonna get it. Unfortunately, you can't save a lot of money or you can't invest a lot of money if you are spending money on clothes, spending money on eating out, spending money on vacations, because all the money that you make and all the money that you're spending is going to somebody else. It's not going to you. If it's vacationing, it's going to the airlines, it's going to the hotels, it's going to Airbnb, if you're eating out, it's going to other restaurants. And there's a lot of different things where the world is going to try and take your money. But remember, guys, you have to delay gratification. Say, I know I want this, but give it a week's time and think about it. And usually after a week, when you think about something that you want, you usually end up forgetting about it anyways, and you save money. That's exactly how you save money, just delayed gratification. Step number 3 is to pay off debts. Now, if you haven't already, you should be paying off debts. So definitely 2021 is a good start to this new year and paying off your debts. If you have any student loans, you should definitely start to pay those off. Car loans, keep chipping away at them. I would say usually once you have your $2,000 to $3,000 in your emergency fund, a lot of the excess money that you do make that aren't going to your necessities like groceries or your rent, that money should be poured into these debts so that you could become debt free. I know a lot of people are stuck into credit card debt because of the bad times. This is exactly why I say you should have an emergency fund. If you don't, then you usually rely on your credit cards, and the credit cards usually have 20 to 25% interest rate on them. So you can see, that eats away your wealth, and that eats away your money day after day, month after month. And puts you in a very devastating situation and kind of ruins like your whole future ahead of you because you used credit. You're essentially borrowing from your future to pay off for the emergency that happened today. If we were to prioritize this by student loans, car loans, and credit card debt, pay off the highest interest. Usually they are credit cards because they do charge 20 to 25%. So as long as you get those credit cards off as soon as possible, then start chipping away at the other loans that you do have. Step number 4 is to increase your income. Now, I know if you're not a person that is going to be starting your own business and everything like that, not everybody has to do that, and I totally understand. But if you have a job and you've been making the same amount of money for a little bit, you might as well just try to shoot for a new job that pays you a lot more, or ask for a raise from your boss, and to show them that you are worth this money and you are worth the increase, or you are worth this new job that's going to be paying you a little bit more money. But if you don't want to go that route and you like where you're at in your job, even though the money isn't satisfying you, but the job itself and the role is very nice, just create a side hustle. I've done this time and time again. I do side hustles all the time. My current side hustle, there was days, and actually last month in December, I made like $6,000 in revenue just by selling stuff online on Amazon. There's days that I had made in revenue 400 plus, a couple days in a row, 300 plus a couple days. And so definitely creating a side hustle helps you, make more money on the side as well. And my side hustle is doesn't take a lot of time and effort, and I make a bunch of money extra on the side that I do not need. How to build wealth is that you need money, and now you need money that you don't need, essentially, so that you can invest into that. So usually I have a set amount of money every single month that I do not need to live, like pay my bills off or pay off student loans and stuff like that. So all that extra discretionary income puts into my savings and puts it into my investments. So remember, guys, create more money so that you can invest all that extra discretionary income into these assets that are going to produce more income. So it's like a piggyback effect. Once you get the money, then you put in investments, then investments start making money. It's really that simple. Now, step number 5, once you've done all this, got your mind right, start saving, created a side hustle or increased your income, then you would want to, if you have a 401k, understand what the employer match is. I have a friend who has an employer match of 3%. I suggest people that, if you have 401k and they're matching a certain percent, just match that certain percent as well so that you can get the free money that the employer is going to give to you. Now, if you do not have a 401k or your employer doesn't have a 401k, I suggest you open up an individual retirement account, which is an IRA. If you haven't heard of it, I have a Roth IRA with Vanguard, and I buy, ETFs, which are just, one price for 500 different stocks, and it's tax free. So there are tax benefits when it comes to these different types of accounts. reason why I like Roth is that you pay taxes on the contributions, and so that you, once you take it out when you're like 65, everything you made is tax free. All the gains in the account are tax free. All the dividends are tax free. But there is a limit up to $6,000 every single year. I believe that that's perfect amount for a limit, because you don't want to put all your money into one account that's locked up for a long time, because then how are you going to build wealth in the meantime, like buying a rental property, or investing into another brokerage account, into other stocks. So definitely IRA is perfect because it has $6,000 limit, which is just the right amount of money that you just need to put into, so that over 45 years or 30 years or however old you are, when you get to 60 years old, you most likely become a millionaire, an automatic millionaire. And the last step that wraps up everything in this video is just stay consistent. Stay on the path and follow your plan. Every single day you should be living by the plan. Every time you get paid, you should be following the plan. You should have systems in place where it makes it a lot easier, so you don't have to think about it, like having automatic payments on your credit cards, having automatic payment on your bills, so that once you get paid, the money just gets dispersed into the right areas without you having to go in and buy this or pay off that or pay your rent. Try to automate everything. And guys, remember, consistency is key. They do not say this for no reason. Stick with the plan, follow the plan, and stay consistent. That's probably the hardest thing, and out of all the stuff I just taught you, that is going to be like I said, the hardest thing, staying consistent. But you have to do it, and once you do it forever, and you will be successful. I promise you. As you guys can see with my stock portfolio, I've been staying consistent for months, and you see the numbers growing, you see my investments growing, is because I put a certain amount of money each and every week, and I make sure I do that first before I do anything. I'm staying consistent with my plan, and you will see into the future and in this channel that I will be a lot better off than where I am now. So that is all that I have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. And remember, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't already, smash the like button for me. I would really, really appreciate that. And I'll see you guys next week in my portfolio update video. So if you haven't checked out the last one, go do that so you're updated on where my portfolio is currently at. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys, and peace.